this is a top 10 leather fragrance scent video for you all to enjoy today. Now, here's my disclaimer. I was not a big leather fan, but I have been saved by leather fragrances. I am a believer and I love them. Not everybody does. But I guarantee you, even if you're not a strong leather lover, there's stuff on this list that could be your next favorite fragrance. So, when I first started getting into more niche perfumery, which is typically where you find leather fragrances because they don't sell well, so design houses don't want to create them, I started seeing a ton of leather scents, and I started seeing people who are obsessed with leather fragrance. And I learned a lot. Way more than I probably should have. So, there's people out there that claim that leather fragrance is the heart of niche perfumery. I thought that was kind of crazy. But after learning about it, I agree. So, there's so many different ways to do leather. We have a complete and total inability to extract oil from leather. Leather has no oil. In fact, you have to oil the leather. So leather is created in many different ways. It can be taken from animal notes, or it can be taken from non-animal notes, things like trees and birch and cypriol and different fragrances, notes that kind of create a leathery, what they call a leathery accord. And then there's animal notes. Hyraceum, which is poop from a creature called a hyrax. There's civet, musk, and castoreum, which is from the butt of a beaver. And there's animalic, right? Animalic leather notes. So there's a lot, but what you see today is not leather. Most fragrances that you see now, it's actually getting popular to say you have a leather accord in the base. There's no leather accord. There's nothing. I just sampled the new Aqua di Gio elixir. It says leather in the base. Bull. There is no leather in that base. So you see leather used a lot, but there's no discernible leather that you can get from that. When I was looking up different leather fragrances, I actually found a forum, and the top recommended fragrance, leather fragrance, was Cherry Punk by Room 1015. I almost threw up. I'm not even kidding. I spent so much time testing the leather fragrances, learning the history, and when I saw someone said Cherry Punk, I almost puked. Because there is no discernible leather in that. It's a cherry fragrance. The extrait smells just like lost cherry. I have both of them. I like them. But to say that the best leather fragrance is a fragrance that you can't even smell the leather is crazy. So, a lot of these leather fragrances that people love, it's like the less we can smell the leather, the better. But I think that is an injustice to how great this stuff is. So, to start off with, we start in the heart of perfumery, the epicenter, which is a place called Grasse, France. And Grasse, Grasse, France, was known for tanning hides, their leather, in the medieval times. So, Grasse would stink up the entire city with its putrid, petrifying animal carcasses, leather everywhere. It smelled really bad. So, Grasse is actually where fragrances started coming to life. Violet, rose, different floral notes used to make people and the city better and smell better, because Mancera's Black line. And this is an example of a fragrance that is not crazy, animalic, heavy leather. Leathers that replicate like leather jackets, leather seats, that kind of leather. They're called true leathers. This is not a true leather. This is a leather mixed with rose. You can see me do that a lot. I have such a strong, passionate love for these fragrances. I never had before, until I started exploring these leather fragrances. So, beautiful sweetness, almost oody, non-animalic leather, rose, sweet fruitiness. This is not for everybody. None of these fragrances are going to be for everybody. They're going to be a little bit different, but don't you want to be a little bit different? Do you want to smell like every single person? This is a type of leather that you can wear in spring and summer because of the fruity and the floral notes. You can wear it 4 seasons. You can wear it date night, you can wear it during the day. That cannot be said about every one of these fragrances on this list. And this is one of the older bottles of the Manceras that have the screw on cap. I didn't even know they had these bottles. I just tried to rip it off. And then I went to wait a second, let's use our brain. I'm not a caveman after all, and I screwed it off and I was like, oh. But this is a great fragrance. A compliment getting fragrance, if there's such a thing as a mass appealing leather fragrance, this is it. $60, $70 and wham bam, thank you ma'am. This is a 4-ounce, projects great, performs great, wonderful fragrance, wonderful fragrance. This next fragrance is a true leather fragrance, designed to be leather, unapologetically leather. The reason why it's number 9, because of the cologne, and I didn't want to give the top spot to a cologne. In fact, we only have 2 colognes in here, the rest of them are original, but this is one of them, number 9. For the house of Parfums de Marly, we have Godolphin. That beautiful, beautiful gold bottle, the absolute best looking bottle of the Parfums de Marly bunch. Like I said, this is a true leather. And this is a clone of a fragrance you're gonna see later. The king of leathers. Tuscan leather. And every true leather, it seems, has modeled itself after Tuscan leather. And I found that out when I started sampling more and more. If you have a raspberry note at the top and leather as the base, you are holding a fragrance that is cloning Tuscan leather. Even ombre leather, I feel like clone Tuscan leather. It's just both of them Tom Ford fragrances, they cloned itself. So good though. I think beast mode. Here's the thing about true leathers. They wear close to the skin. These are fragrances you want to apply to your body, your skin, your sweat, your chemistry of the skin must bring out these fragrances. But even so, these are not fragrances that are going to project and hit you from across the room. Skin scents, great for date night. And you can kind of go a little bit crazy with the spray, not have to worry about overspraying as much. Not blind buy friendly at all. In fact, I was on a date one time, and the girl I was with, we were killing time. this black line, pretty safe to wear. A couple of these, pretty safe to wear. True leather fragrances, not one of those if you're wearing it on a date night. Make sure that you know the person likes it, because very divisive scent has the ability to end a date. So I think definitely more men like it than women. Not that women don't like it. Women really like musk. I'm finding out as well. So some animalic fragrances, but this is a clone. Tuscan leather. It does great. Is about half of the cost of Tuscan leather. And the only reason why it's number 9 is because it's a clone. But a good one at that. I will say people are frustrated with Godolphin. You know, they go and they buy niche fragrances because they spend that extra money. With that, so much of it is they love that gold bottle. Who wouldn't? But they go and they buy the niche fragrance. They don't expect a cologne, and so they buy it. They get Tuscan leather and they go, I don't want this. And so I think Godolphin is one of the most resold fragrances. But a great fragrance nonetheless. Number 8. And this one is also a bit of a clone. It's not a true clone, but it's a bit of a clone. And that's the only reason why this is 8. Because my goodness, this is an incredible fragrance. Incredible fragrance. This is from the house of Valentino. The only one that I know of, other than the intense Bon Aroma, that is Eau de Parfum concentration. This is Valentino Uomo Intense. Typical Valentinos be Eau de Toilette. This is Eau de Parfum. Higher concentration, better projection, better longevity, higher quality. Perhaps it smells like it's higher quality. It's the same quality, but higher. It smells like it. Love these bottles. Spiky. Cristiano Bottine shoe. Spike. It's just so cool. Now this is heavily inspired by a fragrance called Dior Parfum. Iris, leather, iris, leather, iris, leather. One of the greatest combinations ever put together. Iris. It's that floral note. Very difficult to harvest as well. I hear that it takes 3 years to harvest iris, to dry it, and to prepare for fragrance. Dude, shut it down. Stop the video. Stop rolling. This is the most amazing leather fragrance, man. It is incredible, bro. Incredible. So good, so good. And because of Dior Parfum not being around anymore, the original with the leather, this is the closest you can get. That's not an actual clone. This is Valentino Intense. This is one of those fragrances that's been rumored to be discontinued over and over and over again. To my knowledge, they're still making it. So good. $86, $90, even $100 on the high end. Worth every penny, but it's so similar to other leather fragrance. This is why it's number 7, because all of these, actually number 8, excuse me, all of these are incredible fragrances. We had to draw the line somewhere. This is another one of those semi-mass appealing fragrances. Leather and mass appealing fragrances. Just these are two things that will never go together. But this does a pretty good job. And if you could see the dent I've made in this already, it's pretty good. Pretty good. This is one of those date night, late night, fall, winter fragrances. I wouldn't wear it spring, summer. Not a good idea. Okay. Next. 7. So, because we have to synthesize our leather, we can also take our leathers and do a little bit of a different take on them, if you will, and we can make suede accord, which is more of a powdery, less rubbery, a little less offensive or in-your-face version of leather. They're both leather, suede, and leather, both leather, but suede's a little bit lighter. And this is our suede fragrance from the house gets me excited. This one gets me excited. The house is Bentley, and this is Bentley For Men Intense. And you're going Bentley, they're like the car company. Yes, the car company. Car companies have fragrances. Lamborghini, Ferrari. I have a Lamborghini one that I haven't tried. Is it Aston Martin? I don't think that's right. Is it Aston Martin? I don't know. On the next fragrance haul video, I have one car fragrance. I don't think it's Aston Martin. I guess we'll find out. Bentley has some bangers. This combines some of two of my favorite notes in the base. We have leather and incense. At the top we have a bit of a hubcap looking thing, and even here, one of the coolest looking bottles. This, when it came out, like many other fragrances, $100, you know. And apparently a sticker that's coming undone. You can hear that. Kind of like a tire rim, right? I love that. Oh my gosh, I love that. It's up here. Anyways, I'm gonna stop doing that. This is sweet. It has a bit of a bay leaf, a little bit of maybe floral notes like a violet. You'll see leather notes are rarely ever the top or the mids. They're usually the base notes. And so you have a little while to get the full leather accord. And this one makes it sweet. And I think what it's going for is kind of reminiscent of that new car smell. This is also a fairly mass appealing fragrance, and if you don't have this in your collection, go out and get it right now. This is amazing. Woman, men, it doesn't matter. This is Eau de Parfum. Under $30. Such a good fragrance. But again, incense, leather in the base. Not crazy heavy with the leather, but it's sweet up top. Oh, this is so good. So good. Why don't I wear this more? Oh my gosh, why don't I wear this more? Okay, we have 10, 9, we have 6. 6. Okay. This next one is a bit of a three-piecer. There's a guy, his name is Abata Marias, a Spaniard. Great perfumer. Made Acqua di Gio, all the Acqua di Gios, I think. He made a leather fragrance. He made this leather fragrance in 2017, if I'm not mistaken, and it was so good, but it was also so underpurchased and underrecognized that he went and used the same exact fragrance 2 more times with very minor changes. I love them. I think they're great, but I'm not going to give all 3 of them a spot in the top 10. So, we had the first, and the very first one by Alberto Marias, his Gucci Guilty Absolu. This is another one of those fragrances that, oh, it's discontinued, it's not discontinued, they're still making it. And this is one of those halfway to true leather fragrance. It's funny because Alberto Marias are coming out with some fragrances that have leather accord in the base, and you can even smell the leather. If I didn't have this as proof, I might think that Alberto Marias doesn't know how to do leather, but Alberto Marias knows leather. Let me tell you. Strong, leathery, biker gang type, Harley Davidson dealership type of fragrance. In your face, strong projection, performance, the whole 9 yards. Simple, even for Gucci Guilty line, which has very simple bottles, even simpler than that. The thing that irritates me the most about this fragrance, not even the fragrance, it's the bottle. This is one spray missing from it. This is a 100 ml bottle that they filled 90 mils, brand new. Stupid. this DNA, again, a little bit different, but so similar, you wouldn't need all three. They're so similar. One of them is a black tie by Jimmy Fragrance. Don't buy this fragrance. Don't buy this fragrance. $300-something fragrance. So many better alternatives. These two, either of these two. And this is the other one. This is from the house of Philip Plein, who is a German designer. This is No Limits. The projection performance of this, unreal, out of this world. I was wearing this. I was teaching a class. My eyes started watering. I started getting dizzy. And I put on one spray, but I had my hand in front of me because it was on a desk. Just the whiff going up to my nose, man, made my eyes water. Strong fragrance. Better than black dye. In fact, I think this might be my favorite out of the three, but they're so similar. All three of them so similar. This is day-night black dye type event. This is winter, fall, late fall, early spring fragrance. This is so good. Manly, masculine. Halfway to true leather. Like I said, halfway to true leather. It's not like Godolphin. It's a mix between something else, man, but under $40. Maddening. So you can spend 300 something and get Jimmy Fragrance black tie, or you can get the exact same fragrance made by the exact same perfumer for less than 40. Choice is yours, but the worst part about these fragrances are the bottles. Look at how awful this fragrance. I mean, that's awful. That's god awful. That's terrible. Whoever did that, I hope Alberto Marias had nothing to do with that. Okay, next we're on 5, right? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Number 5 is 5A because someone's got to, but also because there's no real leather. This is not a real leather fragrance. And there's a lot of real leather fragrances you're not going to see on this list. You're not going to see leather by Acqua di Pomo. You're not going to see hard leather by Lugon. You're not going to see a lot of the Memo Paris line. You know, there's a lot of leathers you're not going to see. This one, however, blows me away. It just does not have a strong leather record. This is African leather by Memo Paris. Memo Paris is an interesting line. Memo Paris, the entire idea of Memo Paris is traveling, going across the world. Like, you have Italian leather. Someone just told me this. Can't wait to try this. Italian leather has a tomato accord in it. I can't wait to try that. Thank you for that tip. You know, African leather has kind of these animalic, kind of spicy notes, you know, that you would experience in, you know, somewhere like Africa, right? And you have, you know, Russian leather supposed to be really good, also supposed to be very foresty. So, a little bit different, right? Different strokes, different folks. And this is like a lady's purse, you know, like a brand new lady's purse. You got the beautiful leather accord in the very base, but that's not the star of the show. You know, this is one of the greatest fragrances I've ever tried. And if you are not a huge fan of that leather, pick up African leather. Because it is not heavy leather, which is why it's not higher up on this list, because it's not a strong leather fragrance. But I will begin myself. I already got myself one backup bottle. I think I'm going to get another. Memo Paris, number 5. Number 4. And number 4 is going to be from the house of Hugo Boss. And this is a brand new release. This is Boss Bottled Absolu. My goodness, it took me so long to find this fragrance. No one was selling this fragrance. FragranceBuy.ca, which is a website I always used to promote. I used to respect. That's the reason why I don't were charging like $50 over retail for the poor bastards that bought this. Lots of respect for them, man. I understand supply and demand. I understand that. I understand a buck is a buck, but I just thought that was really shady, and I lost my respect for that. I finally found someone that got it, and I think the reason why this is so hard to get is simply because not a lot of it is produced. Not a lot of it is produced. This is voted top 10 best fragrance 2024. This is one of those fragrances that you should stock up on if you like it, because fragrances like this have history of being discontinued. But I think the reason why all these Boss bottles have been fine, this one hasn't, is just because they don't make a lot of it. This is Boss bottled. If you try Boss bottled, Elixir has an incense note. This is with a leather note. No incense, with a leather note. A masculine, incredible performing fragrance, incredible projecting fragrance, very masculine fragrance. Not unisex at all on this guy. Leather is not a true leather, but it's there, it's present, there's no mistaking that it's there. Incredible winter, fall type fragrance. I can't wait for it to macerate, get better. This is number 4. Boss bottled. Absolu. Okay. 3, 2, 1. I'll put a bow on this because my hair is starting to go crazy. Number 3. I could not pick a single fragrance for number 3, so instead I decided to give you a line. All of these fragrances so far have not been animalic. They have not been animalic fragrances. Now, I think people have different understandings of this. How leather comes from an animal. So if it's a leather note, it's animalic, right? Yes, that's true. But some people, they don't see it that way. Instead, they say animalic is when you use an animal note to make a leather profile. And this is all animalic. And the house is Zoologist. Niche. Niche, 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 niche. Zoologist. T-Rex. If you want a strong, heavy leather with a smoke accord, T-Rex is where it's at. Incredible fragrance. Definitely not blind buy safe. Definitely can't wear that in close quarters with other people. It is an incredibly offensive fragrance. Next, Hyrax. Probably one of the least offensive, but also one of the poorest projecting leathers from Zoologist. This is made off of the Hyraceum, which is the poop of Hyrax, which is like a little rodent animal. Out of all of these, projects the worst, performs the worst, but is a true animalic fragrance. Next, we have Rhino. If you want strong animalic, plain land leather, this is number 1. The strongest, other than King Cobra, the strongest performing projecting fragrance that I have tried from Zoologist. Rhino. It's grassy leather. It's like you're on savannah. And that's what it smells like. Like you're next to either a rhino, maybe rhino poop, on a grassy savannah. And it performs, it projects great. It doesn't go away, actually. You gotta wash it off. And then my personal favorite from Zoologist is Camel. And Camel performs well, but it doesn't perform overly well. It projects well, it doesn't project overly well. And is the most, or should I say, least offensive of these leather animalic Zoologist fragrances. So, it's my favorite is Camel, but it's, take your pick. Sloth is animalic and has some fougere green sweet notes. Cobra has some cannabis soil notes. If you are looking for leather, you're looking for animalic fragrances, Zoologist is the best house you will ever find. Unfortunately, very expensive. They only sell their fragrances in 50 mLs, and they start at around 210, 220, so US dollars. Very expensive. Very expensive. Number two, I couldn't not put these as number two. I should have put them maybe as number one even, but I stopped myself. Number two, some call him the king of leather, Tom Ford. And I don't have this. I need to get a real one. This Toscana leather. Maison Alhambra, 1-to-1 clone of Tuscan leather. But I do have Tom Ford's ombre leather, which is again another real leather. And they also call this dark leather because it's not mimicking like a suede or something. It's mimicking a dark leather jacket or something like that. Sweet off the top, leather of course in the base. Projects well, performs well, as a true leather fragrance does, which is to say, it's not that great. But it performs and projects as well as any other true leather fragrance would. So, some say the king, funny enough, comes from a designer fragrance, the king of leathers. Designer fragrance. Which is interesting, certainly. But these are the leathers in which so many other houses have copied. So I couldn't not put these up as number two and number one, being the fact that all these other houses that try to do true leather have copied Tuscan leather. I think even Tom Ford copied Tuscan leather with ombre leather. But again, these are the type of, nighttime, date night, cold weather fragrances. They're just not versatile, and they're offensive. You can't douse yourself in this, go in front of them, or go in a small room with a bunch of people. You just can't do it. You can't do it. At least number one. Number one is probably predictable at this point, but the house is Dior, another designer house. The perfume was François de Magie. The year is, is it 2017 or 2014? And we have Dior Homme Parfum. Dior Parfum. Look at this. Christian Dior. Dior Homme Parfum. This, if you are not a believer of leather scents, this profile totally changed my mind on leather fragrances. This is not a true leather fragrance. It's not a dark leather fragrance. This is a base note leather fragrance, very similar to Gucci Guilty Absolu, with that leathery base. Very similar. But with the addition of some sweetness and some floral notes and that iris. Iris. And this is what Valentino Uomo Intense is very close to. So close, so close. Makes it, takes the sting out of this being discontinued. And the Uomo Intense does not have leather core. So, that's disappointing, but François de Magie was the head perfumer of Dior, came out with Feb Delicious, all the Sauvages. And then he retired. They brought in Maison Francis Kirkhagen, who had his own brand, the Baccarats, made Le Male, and did away with all of the best fragrances from François de Magie. Absolute tragedy for fragrance lovers, and certainly for leather lovers, because it didn't matter if you love niche, and all you wanted was niche. People could not deny. I don't know why I'm holding this. People could not deny a designer fragrance, Dior Parfum. every situation. They're very limited in where you can wear them, how you can wear them, when you can wear them. But the Homme Parfum, that's different altogether now. I'm compiling fragrances that smell similar to Dior Parfum, and I'm also getting some clones, so I'm going to try to see who makes the best Dior Parfum clone, and we'll do a video on that once I get them all in. But number one, Dior Parfum. Easy decision. Especially because I didn't want to put a true leather fragrance as number one, because these are leather fragrances, suede fragrances, that about half of them are not blind buy safe. You might like it, you might hate it. And then other ones you might love. You know, the other half could be your new favorite fragrance, you know, men and women. And, you know, as I'm sitting here, I'm looking at a couple different fragrances. So many fragrances, so it's this leather accord. But it's so weak. So weak. You can't even smell it. It's nowhere. And, you know, like I said, you can't just extract oil from leather, so you have to make your own. So it's all too easy for house just to say, yep, there's leather in there. There's no leather. These 10 fragrances, they might have been smaller, they might have been larger, but each one, leather was a star. Whether it was a supporting actor or the main actor, it was theirs present. So, thank you everybody. Hope you enjoyed this video. These leather fragrances have won me over, and I think if you give some of them a try, you might be surprised at how much you like them, even though, you know, I was disgusted by leather fragrance when I first started. Taste change.